Well, this is the K-Rations Global Intelligence update for June 28th of the year 2010. And as most of you know, I usually take advantage of a staff that prepares some little updates from our intelligence database and what have you to make these little updates. And I'm departing from what the staff had prepared for me tonight because I encountered something much simpler, more direct. Instead of going through the thing I had planned to do, that they had planned for me to do, I'm going to simply share with you a letter, an open letter written to President Obama by an actor you probably are well acquainted with by the name of Jon Voight. Jon Voight wrote an open letter to the President on June 22nd of 2010 that struck me so strongly I thought, that I'm going to use that for the update today rather than what had been prepared. So it's simply a letter that I thought you needed to hear by Jon Voight. President Obama, you will be the first American president that lied to the Jewish people and the American people as well when you said that you would defend Israel, the only democratic state in the Middle East, against all their enemies. You have done just the opposite. You have propagandized Israel until they look like they are everyone's enemy. And it has resonated throughout the world. You are putting Israel in harm's way. And you have promoted anti-Semitism throughout the world. You have brought this to a people who have given the world the Ten Commandments and most of the laws that we live by today. The Jewish people have given the world our greatest scientists and philosophers and the cures for many diseases, and now you play a very dangerous game so that you can look like a true martyr to what you see and say are the underdogs. But the underdogs you defend are murderers and criminals who want Israel eradicated. You have brought Arizona a civil war, once again defending the criminals and illegals, creating a meltdown for good, loyal, law-abiding citizens. Your destruction of this country may never be remedied, and we may never recover. I pray to God you stop. And I hope the people in this great country realize that your agenda is not for the betterment of mankind, but for the betterment of your politics. With heartfelt and deep concern for America and Israel, Jon Voight. I feel the same way. I see some thumbs up, right. When I encountered that this afternoon, I set aside what had been prepared for tonight and felt that that is so succinct, so on the money, so undeniable that it deserves to be posted at the masthead. I suspect it's going to get a lot of visibility across the country. Because of travel conditions, I missed the latest meeting of the Council for National Policy. But I remember vividly giving a speech there some years ago. It was a spontaneous thing, but I had an opportunity, and I just said, where's the outrage? That was in the Clinton years, and before the day was over, I was invited to a secret meeting, which turned out to be the beginning of an impeachment process. And I feel the same way today, except I'm less optimistic today than I was back then. I tend to be upset not with Obama. He is what he is. He's a Sunni Muslim, and he's acting out the agenda that he if you know anything about him, he was committed to. But I'm stunned as I ponder, where's the outrage? We've got felonies being executed throughout the administration that are explicitly grounds for impeachment in the law. Bribes and so forth. We have, there's one thing worse than lawbreakers. And that's the absence of law. It's called lawlessness. You know what the formal name of that is? Iniquity. That's what it means, lawlessness. The protections that you and I take for granted, called the Constitution, have evaporated. No one takes it seriously. Where's the outrage? What shocks me about America is no one seems to care. I almost feared by now people would be taking up arms and doing stupid things. It's really gone the other way. People seem to be just asleep. I don't know what the answer is. I stand here stunned. For me, though, candidly, that's been emancipating. It's caused me to let go of some obsolete loyalties in order to focus on my King, which is obviously what I think preempts all of that. And so there is a passage in Romans 13 speaking of rulers that are a terror to evil works. What happens when they are terror to good works? That's the scary part. But it gets down to verse 11. He says, Paul says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. You ever think about that? Whatever distance it was to the rapture or whatever when you believed, it's now closer. How close, we don't know, but it's certainly closer. Paul goes on and says, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. At least for me and my house, we're focusing on the coming King, and we're regarding all the other priorities that used to drive our lives as secondary or obsolete. That's really what it's all about. So with that, let's you and I turn to tonight's Bible study.